I'm a philosopher by training. I did my Ph.D. at the University of Notre Dame. I became a dean about 5 years ago when I was at St. Vincent College, which is a Benediction school in southwestern Pennsylvania. I spent 2 years in Seattle at Seattle Pacific University as dean of their College of Arts and Sciences. I'm originally from Virginia, so I'm a native of the East Coast actually, but I enjoy exploring different regions of the country, and this is a very different region than the Southeast that I grew up in. There's two sort of sides of my professional personality because I still very much consider myself a philosopher and a scholar and therefore a member of the faculty. And in that part of my life, I study the history of philosophy, actually, especially David Hume, who was an 18th century Scottish philosopher. And I'm also very interested in, there's a movement now to discover women and people of color who are writing in the early modern period. I'm not, however, interested in history just as a kind of antiquarian study of the past. I think that these thinkers are really have something to bring to us insofar as they challenge our presumptions, and so I find them compelling and interesting and challenging to things that we get from the tradition without even knowing it, so it helps us, I think, to sort of critically examine the assumptions that we're bringing. And I'm particularly interested in morals and aesthetics, so the kind of the normative side of philosophy. So for me, this is all, it's impossible for me to think about my work without tying it all together in that way. As I said, I became a dean about 5 years ago. I did not intend to move into administration originally, but I do think there are certain qualities to philosophical training that can be helpful in an administrative role, and qualities sort of native to the philosophical personality, if I can put it that way. So I am someone who really I'm fascinated by all the disciplines. I often wish I could go back and major in lots of different things in addition to the philosophy major that I actually did. And so I'm someone who really loves to learn about science, for example, even though that's not my particular area of expertise. And I'm deeply curious about people. That's part of why I ended up majoring in philosophy. I had originally thought that I was maybe going to be a psychology major because I was fascinated by the human mind. It took a little bit of a different turn, but I'm still fascinated by those things. So I really like to sit down and listen to people, and a lot of being a dean is kind of problem solving, but also helping people to achieve the things that they are excited about, and I think that helps me to do that. Well, I mean, I think one of the things that really drew me to Providence is the firm emphasis still on the liberal arts. And again, I've already said I'm not interested in history as a kind of antiquarian study, and I'm not interested in the liberal arts simply as a kind of old-fashioned buzzword that means that students have to take things they're not excited about or that are not in their major. For me, I think about that as getting back to one of the sort of traditional meanings of that. The liberal part is supposed to be liberating, so it's supposed to be a liberating education. I think that studying a lot of different disciplines and thinking about the connections between them is an excellent way to achieve that. So I'm excited about the fact that Providence is not simply doing what it's always done, but it is still tied to that tradition that can really be life-giving and vivifying. And so that's part of what made this particular position especially attractive to me. There are 237 full-time faculty in the School of Arts and Sciences here, and so I've only at this point gotten to meet a very small subset of those people. So I would say that one thing that I'm looking forward to is building those relationships across the school, and that just takes time. It's not something that's going to happen very quickly. I also haven't had the opportunity to teach in a pretty long time, and that's something that I really miss. And I think it's important for an administrator to continue to know the students, and there's really no better way to do that than to have them in the classroom. So I'm really hoping that next year I will be able to teach a class and get to know the students. The School of Arts and Sciences has an interesting history. One of the things that I said to my faculty recently is the School of Arts and Sciences faculty just used to be the faculty of Providence College. And so I think we're still trying to get to know ourselves as one unit among other units. And we're not just one unit among other units, because so much of the core curriculum is housed in arts and sciences. There's such a huge breadth of disciplinary expertise in arts and sciences. And so part of what I would like to do in this first year, again, is spend a lot of time listening to people and thinking together about what it is that unifies us, not as opposed to the professional schools, but that makes us able to articulate what it is that we're doing for students. Obviously, what the biology professors are doing for students is not going to be the same as what the music professors or the sociology professors or the English professors are doing. But I think we all share this kind of excitement about learning for its own sake, and I'd like to be able to help us come together around that idea and hopefully build some really interesting interdisciplinary projects, not simply within the School of Arts and Sciences, but across the School of Arts and Sciences and the other schools as well. I think that's something that it's kind of proven. You can find lots of studies now that show that that kind of active engagement, tying things together, helps students to learn. I don't actually think it's new. This is what's new actually is breaking the academy up into separate disciplines. So you would think that you could address a problem from one perspective. That's actually the new phenomenon, and I think we actually need to go back to some degree, an older model where we realized that being educated and solving human problems required a number of different kinds of perspectives. I'm hoping we can have sort of cross-pollinization, if you will, where it's not simply the science students coming to a science event and the history students coming to a history event, but if there would be a way that we could promote again that kind of cross-pollinization, that excitement across the disciplines, that is something that I would be really happy about.